Welcome back to Fantasy for the Ages. I'm Jim, the father of this father and son show, where we talk fantasy, science fiction, and other nerdy stuff we enjoy. I'm bringing a book blast to you today, the second in a trilogy of these about the Silo Trilogy by Hugh Howey. This is a spoiler-light episode, about 5 minutes worth, talking about book two, Shift. It will include some spoilers related to book one. That's kind of unavoidable. So you really shouldn't watch this until you've already read Wool, but it's safe if you haven't read this book yet. Spoiler light. I'll just mention some touches on the book, but not get too deep. Again, this series, it's dystopian future. It's based on people who are living down in a silo under the ground because the world's become uninhabitable. In this book, we get to go back in the past. We have a lot of flashbacks back and forth in this one, but basically, this blows the top off of the Silo trilogy. We had kind of a self contained story in book one of the world as it is and people trying to figure out what's going on. Eventually, of course, finding the world is bigger than they realized. And there's not just their silo, there's at least one more. And it looks like there's as many as 50 silos with people living in all of them, all isolated from each other. What is going on? Well, here we find out what is going on because this is based primarily on Silo 1, the one that rules them all. With people who also don't entirely know what's going on, they're just doing their roles in running the Silo system, something that's there in place to save humanity. From what? Not sure. Pieces start to fall in place, though, as the story goes along. It's an amazing tale, and it's giving us a lot of information we were clueless about in the first book. As you work through this book, it does eventually sync up with Wool. And so the events somewhat come together in some aha ways, but there's more to be discovered, much more. And that's why, of course, this is only book two of the trilogy. I'll say when I read this book, it was mind blowing. I thought the series was great when I read Wool. And I went, I had no idea how good this series was until I read Shift. Hugh Howey has really come up with something unique and special in the way he's written this trilogy. And the story is so complex. Just loved it. The science fiction gets even deeper, sturdier here in Shift. Amazing. I love the title that you can see right here on the back. That thing right here is really intentional. It means something. Just the tiniest taste here. People work shifts in Silo 1, managing the silo system. They are in cryogenic frozen pods until it's their turn and they get woken up. And they work for a time and then they go back under. But just the men. The women are staying in suspended animation throughout this period of hundreds of years that they're going to be working. Nobody knows exactly how long that will be. There's a master plan, but our people aren't at that master plan. They don't know the whole plan. But the women, they don't come out because the men would end up fighting about them, apparently. It's fascinating. Again, Shift, book two in the Silo trilogy, makes the first one much better because you're getting context behind things you learned there that you had no idea that's what this meant. Loved it. And of course, only book two in the trilogy. We got to move on to book three, Dust, after this, which brings it all home. Fantastic. I hope you'll enjoy this book too, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like it down below, subscribe to our channel if you hadn't, and Zach and I would love to interact with you more. So all the ways to get in touch with us and chat, Discord, social media, Patreon, it's all listed down in the show notes. All right, that's all I got today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.